Welcome into another edition of the PHNX D-backs podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla. Jacob is behind the Mac today, and he is doing the drum solo. Neither one of us are in that mood. We don't have that kind of energy after watching the Arizona Diamondbacks offense come up short against a fairly mediocre pitching staff in the Chicago White Sox, but the lowly Chicago White Sox for our friends at CHGO. But again, welcome in. I'm Derek Montilla. I am the mayor of PHNX. This is my vice mayor. It is your Thunderstick, Jesse Friedman. And yeah, Jesse, you said it right now before we started, but this was not a very enjoyable game to watch. No. It did not feel like the Diamondbacks were patient at all when it came to their approach at the plate offensively. You could say what you will about the pitching staff and the bullpen game, but they gave this team a chance to win. It was pretty much the offense that did not show up today.
Yeah, I mean, the D-backs won a game yesterday, scoring 3 runs, right? And in this game, they were sort of on the other side of that, where they lose this game 3-1. Yeah, they didn't really make White Sox pitchers work in the latter half of this game.
Yeah.
But in the first part of this game, I think they very much did. Touki Toussaint threw 85 pitches in 4 innings of work. But then over the last 5 innings of this game, once the White Sox relievers got in there, they threw 59 pitches over 5 innings of work. And that's just that's not great, right?
Yeah.
If you're going around 10, 11 pitches an inning, which is basically what the Diamondbacks averaged against the White Sox in those last 5 innings, you're just not having very good at bats.
Yeah.
And there was some hard contact. There was some maybe unlucky batted balls here and there, but by and large, just a poor showing from the D-backs offense for the second consecutive day. They didn't do a whole lot. They didn't do a whole lot yesterday against the White Sox either.
That's the thing about today's loss and yesterday's win, right? We said that yesterday's win could have very easily been a loss had it not been for Brandon Pfaadt's day on the mound and the way that the bullpen was able to continue to hold the White Sox, the way that they did. But, in this game, again, I don't feel like this one is on the pitching staff. It was a bullpen game. Bryce Jarvis got the start. He went 2 2/3 innings, gave up 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, gave up 1 home run. Not a great day by any stretch of the imagination. But again, when you add that to the rest of the bullpen for the most part held the White Sox scoreless. Kyle Nelson was the only other pitcher that gave up a run in this game. But honestly, Jarvis's 2 earned runs allowed was enough for the White Sox to win because the Diamondbacks offense just could not do anything. And again, even with that win, it's not very encouraging. They had a huge offensive output in game 1 of this series. They scored 15 runs. It really felt like at the time what we were seeing was them kind of breaking out. And you hoped to see that carry over, especially against a White Sox team that I'm not trying to really call them lowly or anything like that, but they have nothing to play for this point. They haven't been particularly good this season. And, they really felt like the Diamondbacks could have secured a sweep after the way that they put it to them in game 1. Game 2's victory was surprising, but still nice because, again, it's an encouraging sign to see the pitching staff step up and help them win on a day where they didn't generate that much offense. Today, it felt like the offense let, the pitching staff down, in the other way. So,
yeah, absolutely.
So, Kyle Nelson, again, 1 inning, give up the 2 hits, the 1 earned run, right? So it's like, I don't know, but they went 4 for 27 as a team in yesterday's loss. Today, they only managed 3 hits.
3 for 29. Yeah.
3 for 29. So they went 7 for 56 for a batting average of 125 in the 2 final games of this series. Not great.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you spread out your run scoring, and sometimes you do what the Diamondbacks just did, which is score 15 runs in a game, and then follow it up and score 3 runs and then 1 run. So unfortunately, that's unfortunately for them, that's kind of the way it works in this sport a lot of the time. You don't necessarily get to spread out your run scoring the way that maybe you would ideally like to. But yeah, the quality of the at-bats in the second half of this game were just pretty lackluster on the D-backs side. They've played a lot of baseball. Their schedule has been pretty messed up obviously over these last few days with what happened in New York and having this series shifted back a day. They theoretically were supposed to be home today.
With an off day today.
Yeah, they were supposed to finish this series in Chicago yesterday and have an off day today and, be able to rest and recharge for a big series over the weekend against the Houston Astros. So yeah, I don't know if fatigue is playing a role in that, but they just looked like the focus at the plate just wasn't quite there in the second half of the game from my perspective.
And it's not everybody, because Corbin Carroll still proceeds to look at all times like he's trying to generate the offense, get things kickstarted for this team.
Yeah.
He was 2 for 4 today with a triple that was, again, one of the fastest triples I've ever seen. Like, it's Corbin, so we expect him to get in there safely. But to be honest, like any normal man is only going to be able to get 2 bases out of the ball that he hit today, and somehow Corbin turns that into a triple.
He is not a normal man.
He is no normal man by any stretch of the imagination. But man, he really did put on a show in this series and today, and for that reason, he is our king snake. Corbin Carroll goes 2 for 4 today with a triple, run scored, stolen base. This is what Corbin Carroll does, right? He hits for power. He gets on base. He's fast. He can get those extra bases with his speed. He can get more bases with his feet once he gets on the base path. And we were discussing this the other day. It's debatable, right? I mean, we know how good Zach Gallen has been for this team. We know how good Merrill Kelly has been for this team. But I mean, I think it is debatable that Corbin Carroll is quite possibly the true MVP of this team, the truly most valuable player on the team.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's debatable, to be honest. I think Corbin Carroll is pretty clearly, in my book, the most valuable player on this team. Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly are definitely up there, to be sure. But yeah, I mean, from a wins above replacement standpoint, Corbin is well out in front of those other competitors. And I mean, I think he's going to get MVP votes this year.
Yeah.
Like, I think Corbin Carroll is probably going to get some down ballot MVP support this season for the year that he's had. And it wasn't that long ago, I mean, just a few months, that we were talking about Corbin Carroll as like an actual MVP candidate,
Sure.
right? He was up there with Ronald Acuna and, in that conversation for a while. I don't think Corbin is really in the thick of that conversation at this point, but he's deserving of that consideration with, everything that he contributes in so many different ways.
One thing you were pointing out to me before the show was that Corbin has now played in 156 of the Diamondbacks games. Is that right?
I think by the end of the year, he could get to 156, 155 or 156, something like that. Yeah.
And that's incredible considering the amount of time that we thought we were going to lose Corbin Carroll due to injuries.
Yes.
All the times he's been hit, the shoulder injury scares, everything that's happened with him. He did get injured at one point in Colorado and only missed, 2 games due to that? I mean, and this is in a lineup where Torrey notoriously, pun intended, likes to, give guys rest, right? So it typically is hard for guys to play in 155 plus games for the Diamondbacks, with the fact that Torrey does like to give guys days off, especially if they, so for him to go through some of the things that he went through this year and to just be, available so much for this team, the ups and downs where he's kind of just been literally up and down in the starting lineup, everything. He's just been an incredible player for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was right before the All-Star break when the second shoulder scare happened. And Corbin went from being, all right, like, he really might miss some significant time. This looked really bad. It happened for a second time. And not only was Corbin okay, but he was in the lineup the very next day.
Yeah, the next day. It was wild.
It really is crazy that Corbin has given the Diamondbacks a full season, a complete season, despite the fact that, people have been convinced on, I would argue, maybe 4 or 5 different occasions that he was potentially out for the season or going to miss significant time. There was the injury in Colorado.
This guy.
There were the 2 shoulder things. There have been a couple hit by pitches that did not look good in the moment. So yeah, I mean, durability is, availability is one of the best abilities, and Corbin has had that this year for the Diamondbacks as well.
You were present and saw my reaction to the shoulder scare. I packed all of this stuff up in a box and was just ready to take it outside and just be done with the whole season.
It would have been the end of the PHNX.
Yeah, we would have just started talking, like G-rated would have started coming to you from this time slot every single day. But anyway, Corbin again. And I think that that adds to his case, obviously, for the National League Rookie of the Year, which seems like a slam dunk for him at this point, right?
Yeah, it is a slam dunk.
The fact that these other rookies, no matter where they played, there was injuries. There was times where these guys just didn't play nearly the amount of innings or have the amount of at bats. Not to mention, I mean, like in the Reds case, right? The Reds have some wonderful young rookie players, but they kind of all contribute, so none of them can really stand out in a way on a team like that. Whereas Corbin has not only been like the best rookie on the Diamondbacks team of all the rookies that have made their debut, but he's, like we said, he's been arguably the best player on the team, and that's something that you can't take away from him. He just ascended so quickly from being the new guy to being this team's MVP. So that's just such a good reason for him to win this thing, and he's going to. I'm going to cash that bet. I can't wait to do so.
I think Matt McClain with the Reds, like if he had played a full season, he didn't get any opportunity until I think it was well into May, and then he had what is now looking like a season-ending injury a few weeks ago. So he's missed so much time that I think if he hadn't missed that time, he would have stood out enough from Cincinnati's group where he could have maybe made this a little more interesting. Kodai Senga definitely deserves some love in the conversation as well. He's had an outstanding year. But as we saw last year, pitchers just don't really win. I really think Spencer Strider should have won last year over Michael Harris, and that didn't happen.
Is Kodai the one that asked that didn't want it? No, that's Masataka Yoshida, right? He said that I'm too old.
Masataka Yoshida said he didn't want.
He said I'm too old to be rookie of the year.
Throwing shade at Ichiro.
It is it is different, right? When a guy comes over from a fairly long career in another league overseas and comes into the majors, it is a little. They're a different type of rookie, right, than like a Corbin Carroll or a Matt McClain. I mean, if I were them, I wouldn't say I don't want the award. But I guess I respect that.
Will I get more money because of this? Yes. Give me the awards. Give me all of the awards that give me more money.
I don't think Masataka Yoshida is going to win this thing in the American League, though. I think Gunnar Henderson has that pretty well locked down at this point.
And that's probably one of the most consistent, like from pillar to post victories for the American League and National League rookies of the year, because they were the favorites at the beginning of the year. Remember, we were celebrating a lot of the articles that were talking about Corbin Carroll being, a standout for the rookie of the year in the NL, and Gunnar Henderson was very much part of that conversation for the AL. And like you said, it's the injury, like what happened to Matt McClain. It's so hard for any player to consistently play throughout the season. And honestly, you miss time and you just miss opportunities to be, obviously playing and contributing to your team and giving yourself a resume, a portfolio that would win you that award. But you guys that are here right now, the PHNX Sports YouTube channel, you all deserve all the accolades, all the awards for your portfolios, for your resumes, for being fans of us. So thank you for being here right now in the YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to do so. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss when any of our shows go live. Leave us a little thumbs up just because that's your way of telling us you love us. The brand new wagon shirt is out. The shirt itself is a wagon, and it's a shirt in honor of a wagon. So it's wagon squared.
It's my favorite shirt that we have.
It by far is my favorite shirt too. Like, I really love this shirt, especially because like we have a lot of black shirts, in the PHNX locker. It is refreshing to see a colored shirt. It's a nice mix. The beige shirts, some of the red shirts, purple. All the colored shirts tend to be my favorite shirts, but this one's amazing. And I know Sean's going to have an entire closet full of these, of course. But make sure to pick yourself up the new wagon shirt over at phnxlocker.com. And of course, if you're listening on the audio podcasting side, you can't see that shirt, but I'll describe it to you. It's beautiful. It's beige. I guess you could say it's an off beige color, even, if you will. It's got the word wagon in the Serpientes font, and that's got the little PHNX logo underneath it. It's simple, it's clean, it's beautiful, and it should be everybody's shirt to wear for when the Arizona Diamondbacks inevitably make the Major League Baseball playoffs.
Wow, you just said that.
Did I say that? Did I say inevitably? That's probably the wrong word to use for sure. But I'll tell you, if you want to make outrageous statements like this and blame it on the substance that you've drank, get yourself some Countdown from Wink. Petey had an incredible story. Apparently, Countdown has replaced Petey's drinking of alcohol altogether. And Petey does not drink Countdowns like directly. He just takes a little bit of it, like a little shot, and he puts it in with some seltzer water. And that is Petey's nightcap for the evening. And I love that because Countdown Countdown will give you a lift off. It's ready. It's ready to get you into space. And it is a nano emulsion cannabis infused beverage that delivers a sky high blast with powerful flavors. Why is it so powerful? It has 25 milligrams of THC in it. And it's currently available in 7 states, including right here in Arizona. If you are ready to escape the ordinary, you're just moments away from liftoff. Leave it all behind, knowing you'll safely land upon your return. Here's the thing with Petey. He could get Wink, which is Countdown's cousin, that just has less THC in it. It's got a smaller amount, which is another option for you as well. Those are available in the 2.5 or 5 milligram cans, and you can find Wink right here in Arizona. You can find Countdown here in Arizona. But Petey is no ordinary man. You know, he likes to live dangerously. He likes that extra boost that Countdown gives you. So
Petey does love to live dangerously.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He does. He still is out there playing in that park that he calls it. He keeps calling it a park, and I forget that it's a landfill. It's disgusting. And sometimes, yes, he does smell when he comes back from that place. But anyway, make sure to check out Wink at all Sunday Good dispensaries in the Valley and Botanica dispensaries in Tucson. They're now in 12 states nationwide and even recently launched online ordering and home delivery to about a dozen others. To find the fastest way to get your hands on one, go to drinkwink.com, and that's WYNK. And that's for winks and for countdowns. Also, speaking of placing your bets on Corbin Carroll for Rookie of the Year, you can still do that on the BetMGM app. You're probably not going to get great odds at this point because we all know who's going to win it, but go check out all the future bets over there at BetMGM. And if you place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the Sportsbook mobile application of at least $10 using our code of PHNX, you will get $200 instantly. All you have to do is sign up and deposit at least $10 into your newly created account. Use that code again of PHNX to sign up, and then place a wager in the amount of at least $10 at a standard odds price. Once you have placed a qualifying bet, you'll receive those $200 in bonus bets instantly that you will be able to bet on all sorts of other things. Of course, I have said it time and time again. I am an SGP guy. I am a same game parlay guy. And I just try to take the safest bets that I can. Don't let anybody bully you into doing that. Like adding multiple legs to a parlay is already dangerous enough, right? It's already you're letting potentially you're getting 8-9 legs in there. One thing could mess up your whole parlay.
Talk about living dangerously, right?
However, if you're using your brain and taking things that seem like they're slam dunks, maybe you can package together 5, 6 legs, 7 legs over there on the BetMGM Sportsbook app. And again, all you got to do is sign up for BetMGM, use our bonus code of PHNX, place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile application of at least $10. You will receive $200 instantly in additional winnings regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Shane, who we miss dearly, talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario.
There's a lot of chatter right now in the chat about playoff odds, playoff chances.
Well, we tweeted out last night that the Diamondbacks have, I think according to FanGraphs, it was a 97.8% chance of making the postseason.
You guys cursed them.
And people were real worried about that 2.1%, which is fair. If you're an Arizona sports fan, you've been damaged many times.
Look, here's how it is. We've seen it all. We aren't surprised by anything. It's weird because I don't even see like Arizona sports fans being the type of people any longer that would rip their television down off the wall and smash it. We would just get up like that gif of grabbing, your purse. You just get up, look disappointed, and walk out the room. That's what we are at this point because we all figure all of the bad things are going to happen to us. Nothing good is going to happen to us. And of course,
it's probably, it's
all going to end in heartbreak.
Expect the worst, hope for the best kind of.
I don't even know if they hope for the best anymore. It's like expect the worst, hope for not the worst.
Not nearly as bad.
Yeah, not nearly as bad. Absolutely. But let's take a look first at the numbers from this series because hopefully that will make you a little happier. The Diamondbacks, they won this one handedly. But again, see, even with one of these games being 15-4 and the Diamondbacks winning the series and everything still seeming like it was kind of a rout, the White Sox somehow out-hit the Diamondbacks 20-19? Is that real? How is that real?
Yeah, the D-backs in that 15-run game actually only had 12 hits. Which is
wild.
still a lot.
But still, yeah. You would think that with a 15-run day that they would have had 30 hits in that game or something absurd, right?
I don't know about 30,
hey,
but yeah.
40, 50, I don't know.
They definitely had, some walks and, they got base runners other ways in that game in order to score those runs. But yeah, I mean, over the last couple of days, we talked about it earlier, 7 for 56 in these last 2 games. That's a batting average of 125 against a, pretty lackluster White Sox pitching staff. So it's been rough. And, heading into the postseason, it would certainly behoove the Diamondbacks to go in with a little bit of momentum offensively. And, you're going to be facing significantly better pitching in the postseason if you get there than, what the D-backs have seen these last couple of days. And they didn't look real good in these games. It's no secret.
Taking a look back at that graphic, the relief pitching and starting pitching ERA really does tell the story here of what the Diamondbacks were able to do, especially considering that one of these 3 games was a bullpen game. I think that this is they put up zeros in the first 2 games, and pretty much Kyle Nelson's 1 run allowed is the only run that the bullpen allowed in this series.
In the whole series,
yeah. Things didn't look this good in the series against the Yankees, that's for sure, and that's a big reason why they lost 2 out of 3 in New York. But this right here definitely shows, especially runners in scoring position, batting average, everything that the Diamondbacks were able to generate here tells the tale of how they were able to win 2 out of 3 in Chicago. And honestly, like, it felt once again like it probably should have been a sweep. It just, like Jesse said, even early on, they had Tuki Toussaint, kind of on the ropes. They had him at a pitch count of 85 in 4 innings. And, they just weren't able to take advantage of continuing to put that pressure on the bullpen of the Chicago White Sox. It felt like once the bullpen came in, they kind of held the D-backs in check. And that's been the story at times. We've seen this team either with starting pitching make a starting pitcher look like a Cy Young candidate, or just completely be mystified by the bullpen once they've come in. In fact, lately it feels like a lot of the runs they do put up are earlier on in games than it used to be, and it feels like they kind of even in wins kind of go up and then things kind of go silent for them for a significant period of time.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, the Diamondbacks offense is not good, if I'm being totally honest.
That's brutality, but let's go with it.
If you look at just where the Diamondbacks rank offensively, they're basically right in the middle of the league, like right in the middle.
Sure.
And I think they kind of make the most out of what they have because they're one of the best base running teams, and then on the other side of the ball, they're one of the best defensive teams in baseball.
Yep.
So they're good at, they're branded on competence, right? As Andy McCullough said on the show a week or so ago. They do a lot of those little things really well, but it's not like the Diamondbacks have, 6-7 hitters who are really striking fear into the opponent. They've got more like 3 or 4 hitters that, might strike some fear in the opponent. And, they have a pretty well-rounded lineup. They do a lot of the little things well, but yeah, this offense is not a premier offense. It was in the first half of the season, but in the second half, it's taken a pretty big step back. And all in all, you're looking at basically a league average offense. And so, yeah, I mean, you're going to have days where it looks like it did on Tuesday. And then you're going to have days like this where suddenly it's just sort of absent. I know we mentioned earlier there was some hard contact in this game, which there was. The D-backs had 11 batted balls of 95 miles an hour or higher exit velocity.
It's like that Tommy Pham hit that I was like, that was a really well hit ball. It just was right at a defender.
Tommy Pham did have a line shot that was pretty unlucky in this game. But out of those 11, 7 of them were on the ground.
Yeah.
And if you're rolling over the top, it doesn't really matter sometimes how hard you're hitting it. If it's in the vicinity of a defender, these guys are good enough where they're going to do with that what they're supposed to. So, yeah, I mean, it's just just a tough day for the D-backs offense, and we've seen a few of these in the last couple months for sure.
And to be fair, game 2 could have been one of those days as well had Brandon Pfaadt and the relievers not been as good as they were. So the Diamondbacks definitely got out of Chicago taking care of business. You would hope for a sweep, but winning the series was the important thing here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, I know there's a lot of confusion still, rightfully so, around where the Diamondbacks are in the playoff chase and what their magic number is. Now, their magic number does not go backwards. Their magic number currently still stands at 2, which is what it was before today's game. Should the Cubs or the Marlins lose tonight, their magic number would be reduced back down to 1. Is that down to 1?
Magic numbers, a lot of misconceptions about the idea of a magic number.
There we go.
Because, and I've been thinking about this entirely too much over the last 24 hours, so I apologize in advance for the rant I'm about to go on.
Hit him with the one shot.
The magic number, if you just look at the way it's actually defined, it's not made for situations like this where you have multiple spots and you have multiple teams in contention for those spots. Magic number, it is a 2-team calculation. It only can factor in 2 teams, and it can only factor in 1 spot that those 2 teams are contending for. So like for a division winner, if you've got a first place team and a second place team, magic number is great. It's simple. Everyone gets it. In a situation where you have 2 playoff spots that are still available, and 4 teams theoretically in the race going after them, magic numbers actually don't work. You have to specify which team you're talking about. So the D-backs magic number with the Cubs is 2. So that means that 2 D-backs wins, 1 D-back win, and 1 Cubs loss, or 2 Cubs losses the rest of the way. That would get the Diamondbacks in the postseason for sure. But if you're talking about the Marlins, the calculation changes. I believe the D-backs magic number with the Marlins is 3.
Right.
Because
if they tie with the Marlins holds the tiebreaker over the D-backs versus what's going on with the Cubs.
Right.
And that's what I've heard incorrectly quite a bit is the magic number being at 2 thing, because I thought about that with the Marlins being at 3. If they win out and the Diamondbacks lose, right? Like nothing's secured for this team. But like Jesse said, 2 Cubs losses, that means the Diamondbacks are in. The Diamondbacks get a loss from the Cubs and a loss from the Marlins tonight. They can still secure their playoff spot with essentially a single victory in the Astros series. So they don't need to sweep the Astros. They don't even need to win it. They just need the Cubs and the Marlins to lose, and they need to pick up a victory in this final series. But let's take a look at where they are at in the wild card standings, and hopefully that can help simplify things. They are currently a game and a half up on the Cubs, essentially, and the Marlins, you could say. But again, the Marlins and the D-backs can't tie. So we'll see how things play out for those 2 teams tonight. But yeah, I mean, like you said, the D-backs are in a good spot here because they are going for 1 of 2 spots. So they don't need to theoretically just fight for the final spot. They need to just be better than the Cubs, really, at this point. I don't know how the Padres snuck onto this graphic, Jacob, and I will never
they're making their way
you for the Padres being on here. That makes
somehow
me sick to my stomach to see that team's logo. Here's the thing. The D-backs are the only team on the National League side or the American League side that are in the playoffs that currently have a negative run differential.
It's -6 right now. They were really close to getting rid of that.
Man, we were getting there. We were at -3. But the Padres, meanwhile, have I think they're the only team out of contention that have not only a positive run differential, but such a massive
Cubs too now if they don't make the playoffs.
Oh, there you go.
Aren't the Padres are eliminated? No,
not technically. I think they've staved off elimination.
Shut up.
The Padres
they have 4 games left, don't they?
The Padres don't have the season series with the Cubs though, so the Cubs are already at 82
But if they have it with
wins.
the Marlins, it doesn't matter.
I don't like this. I don't like you did this to me. We already had complicated enough math to deal with here, Jacob, and now you got to factor in the goddamn Padres. I just want them to lose tonight so I never have to see them on this graphic ever again. Because the Giants are now out of it, right?
I stand by what I said.
I'm with you.
I think the Padres are eliminated because the Cubs, the Cubs are losing to the Marlins, but the Padres are losing to the Cubs.
Sure.
But
what if the Padres win 4 games?
That would be a 3-way tie. That would, you know what? I think you might be right. That would be a 3-way tie, in which case the rules are maybe a little more complicated.
Can you
clip that?
Yeah, you should probably clip that, even if you don't put it on anywhere.
Nobody got his face though. The face,
I'm still not sure.
Jesse was like really mathing in his head.
It would depend on how the 3-team tiebreaker would work.
This is playoff.
I don't know exactly all of the
But I can
numbers.
now check Jesse off my list of PHNX hosts that have said that I'm
right.
correct. The next one I'm going after is Lindsay.
Have you ever gotten?
Good luck.
Have you ever gotten me? No,
I think so.
Nah, that's
I think
refuse.
so.
I refuse
No
to.
way.
I don't admit when I'm wrong. You know that. But anyway, thank you guys again for being here in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Of course, if you guys are diehards already, make sure to go use your 20% discount to grab that new shirt, the wagon shirt. If you are not a diehard member yet, get yourself a diehard membership. You get a free piece of merchandise from the PHNXlocker.com, and you can use it on the wagon shirt. You also get 20% off all future purchases. Get discounts with our partners. You get access to all of our content. You do get access to the members-only Discord lounge and so much more. So join us today. Become part of the family. You'll get discounts from our partners, $50 gift certificate for Mountain Mike's Pizza, which is the official pizza, apparently, of the Los Angeles Angels. Weird. I didn't know that. That's incredible. So see, they're baseball. They're part of our baseball family, Mountain Mike. So make sure to check them out. And also, of course, discounts, exclusive discounts with our partners, exclusive merch, exclusive invites to events. So make sure to join us today and become a diehard member over at gophnx.com. There's that wagon shirt. It's beautiful. All right. Also, speaking of shirts, check out our friends at Pins and Aces. They have a wonderful selection of golf apparel that they say is for golf, and I say is for every single day of your life. These polo shirts are better than the stuffy, heavy, thick cotton ones you're going to buy in a store. Kirkland brand, forget that. Go get yourself some Pins and Aces shirt. These are elite. They're light. They're stretchy. They're comfortable to wear. They have amazing patterns. And of course, you can get all sorts of other golf-related items that you don't actually need to use on a golf course, or of course you can use on a golf course. Hats, golf bags, maybe the golf bag. Maybe that's one thing you should maybe leave on the golf course. But beer sleeve, that's for everyday life. So our friends at Pins and Aces, of course, are a family-owned golf and apparel company, and they are the official golf apparel partner of PHNX in ALLCITY. So check out pinsandaces.com and use code PHNX to receive 15% off your first order and get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com. And also celebrate losses like this with our friends at OG's Brands. It's the best way to get over a loss. You might not even forget what you were angry about earlier on. And if you're stuck on what kind of gummies to get, OG's took the guesswork out of it with their new mix bags. They have the fruits, they have the creams. It's a whole bunch of wonderful flavors, all available in one piece. And I'm realizing the more I read this ad, the more that flavors is probably the hardest word I can possibly say, apparently, that I have the most difficulty with. But get all of those Hall of Fame flavors in one place with the fruits and the creams now available in both a sunny sativa or a mellow indica blend. Allows you to customize your OG's experience based on mood, wins, losses, whatever you need. So check out our friends at OG's Brands for yourself and try one or a few of their many delicious flavors. Check them out across all socials at OG's Brands and online at ogsbrands.com. To find them at a local dispensary near you. Must be 21 or over to enjoy, and please enjoy responsibly. We talked about how the Diamondbacks do need to get at least one of those games in Houston, or not in Houston, here at Chase Field against the Houston Astros. And they need to have the Cubs lose. That's pretty much where they stand.
Technically, the Diamondbacks don't necessary. I mean, in order to like control their own destiny, yes.
Win the series against the Astros and you're in, basically. Take 2 out of 3 and you're in. That's where they're at right now.
The Cubs have 4 remaining games though, and if the Cubs lose 2 of them, the Diamondbacks are in no matter what happens against the Astros. So there's not a ton of pressure going onto them in this series, but there's still some. It is possible that they need to win at least one of these games in order to get where they want to go. Also, I feel like I have to settle the Padres situation. A couple people said it in the chat. It is true. The Padres would win a 3-team tiebreaker with the Marlins and the Cubs. So Jacob is in fact right on this.
You said it twice.
This one rare
Just
occasion. I have to give this.
I
one
don't
to him,
like you congratulating him as much as you have, but I guess give him his flowers. But all right, let's.
Also, Damon caught strays in the chat.
He did.
Yeah.
Well, because your
Piece of Yoshi said that I'm his favorite.
Your graphics work and you're correct about things. There's a lot of things that you have a leg up on when it comes to Damon. But let's take a look at the Houston Astros.
For all the
I didn't need it to be that bad, Derek.
On his day off.
That's why I attack people.
We love Damon.
I attack Totri on Twitter on his day off, and I'm attacking Damon now here on live.
If you're not willing to
off.
like make fun of them, then you don't like them. You know,
it's true.
So this is just a sign that we like.
If I
Damon.
do nothing but compliment you, I probably hate you. Which why
you wanted Probable?
Jesse's fantastic. No, yeah. Let's take a look at the Houston Astros at a glance now. That's not Probable. It's Houston. Oh, see, you fucked up. See, I take back everything I said. Yep. Here are the Houston Astros at a glance. 87-72 record with a plus 120 run differential. By the way, like I said, Diamondbacks still the only team in the playoffs with a negative run differential currently. But yeah, like the Houston Astros, they are not secure in anything. So they are still very much playing for their playoff chances, which is not good for us. It's not good that they are still a hungry team, considering this is the former champs. Or I guess you could say current champs is what they are. And they are, like still kind of in a dogfight with the Seattle Mariners for the final wild card spot in the American League.
I think the Astros reliever ERA is 3.61. It didn't quite seem right to me that it was 4.55 and also sixth in the league. So I think we have a little typo there.
Good job, Jacob.
You spoke too soon. This is on
I
you,
really did. This all fell apart. Yeah, I had it right. It's right in my notes that I sent to Jacob.
What number was it?
It should be 3.61.
The relief pitching ERA.
Their bullpen is actually pretty good.
Very good.
But their starting pitching ERA is only 14th, and that's for a team that coming into the year seemed to have one of the best rotations in baseball, especially after adding Justin Verlander at the trade deadline. It looked extremely formidable, but some guys have had a bit of a down year. Christian Javier has like a mid-4s ERA, I think, for the Astros.
Yeah.
Possible the D-backs could get him in this series. JP Francis had a decent year. Not one of their frontline guys. Hunter Brown has thrown like 150 innings for them this year, has an ERA around 5. Framber Valdez has done what, Valdez usually does and has been one of the better pitchers in the league. But yeah, there are some vulnerabilities here on the starting pitching side that we haven't seen from past Astros teams. So
I'd like to defend myself and my typo.
No.
That graphic was definitely in Slack at least an hour before the game was over, and nobody checked it. So that's on you guys.
Wow.
Wow. Oh, I'm sorry. Giving you numbers that you have to put from the sheet I gave you the numbers
correct.
on into the
You
graphic.
didn't look. They're in
somehow,
Slack. You didn't look.
I'm going to go to the comments here. Charles Woodall Pike says DFA Faj. That's a direct attack on you. And see how quick they are. They're as quick as Sean is
Your
to
guys'
DFA
favorite
someone.
shows on PHNX would not be the same without
Piece
me
of
here.
Yoshi says, bring back Emma. There's Damon in the chat. He says, I'm always watching, taking notes, remembering the slander of my good name forever. Damn it. I thought Damon... Why is Damon watching the show on his day off? That's absurd.
You better be careful what you say on the
texted
show.
him.
I am
texted
so
him.
sick of people watching this show that I don't think are watching this show. I'm getting myself in trouble constantly. All right. Well, let's take a look at the probable pitchers, which we really don't know who the probable pitchers are for the Diamondbacks, honestly. We do know one guy, and that is Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen will indeed be starting in tomorrow's game, and that is going to be it as far as confirmed starters, because things could change should the Diamondbacks clinch a playoff spot tomorrow. Do you think they care about which playoff spot they clinch? Do you think they care about playing? Would you almost think that they might purposefully lose to try to drop down once they clinched a playoff spot so they can take on the Brewers instead of the Phillies, who have won 7 straight?
I wouldn't say they will purposefully lose, but I do think that if the Diamondbacks clinch any spot, they would be inclined to,
Rest their starters.
Yeah, reset their starting rotation. Maybe you finally give Gabby Moreno a day off. Maybe you give some other position players days off. So in that sense, I mean, it's possible that, once you clinch, if you do clinch, you might drop down in the standings. At the same time, if we pull up our standings graphic one more time, it's pretty unlikely that the Diamondbacks are... They're in really good position to get the second spot, not just to get a playoff spot in general. They have a distinct advantage over the Marlins with that 1.5 lead. They essentially have a 2.5 game lead over the Chicago Cubs because of having that tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's still possible they could wind up in the 3 spot. The most likely scenario would be if the Marlins caught up to the D-backs, then the D-backs would drop below them. But yeah, they're still in good position to have the second spot, and I don't think they're gonna go out of their way to throw games in order to get the Brewers instead of the Phillies in the first round. There's not that big of a difference between them, right? Like, the Brewers are an incredible team because of their pitching. The Phillies are a really good team because of their hitting. For the Brewers, there are some questions offensively. For the Phillies, there are some questions on the pitching staff, though maybe not quite as many. So maybe you'd rather have the Brewers than the Phillies. But, there's just not a huge difference between these two teams in terms of who you'd rather face. So I don't really see the Diamondbacks, doing much in the vein of trying to avoid one team or something. It wouldn't be a great look going into the postseason anyway. And I just don't think there's a big enough difference between the teams to justify that.
Fodge is out here doing just the shadiest poll anyone's ever seen. Not only did he fully try to influence the poll,
there was no voter influencing.
There was 100%. He put whose fault is the graphic error, and then he put Jesse and Derek right answer in parentheses next to it, and then he did Fodge. And then the minute that he got any kind of advantage, which the poll went 55 to 44 with 9 votes, meaning there was 1 vote that swayed in his direction.
Wait, what was the poll question?
It was whose fault
It
is
was
the graphic error.
Jesse
the
and
one
Derek.
where he couldn't.
The only
move
options
the
were
number.
me and you?
Yeah.
And then me.
He lumped us together.
I lumped
because
you
we
two
both
together as
missed
one answer and me as one
reviewing
answer. And out of
Oh.
9 people, 5 of them said you.
But he immediately closed the poll the minute that he got that extra vote. So he was down that whole point. And then the minute he got to 9.
It's one of those stop the count situations.
He is, yeah.
where
He
you
is a
just
stop
you
the count
literally
kind of
just
guy.
Stop the
Yeah.
count once it's in your
He's
favor.
a monster. He's a monster, absolutely. But so are the Houston Astros. And the Diamondbacks cannot take them lightly because this series at home is very important. And it gives fans an absolute great opportunity to go out, root on this team in the final series of the year, because this is fun. This is playoff, baseball at home, essentially, is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And who knows how long they go, so it could be our closest chance to experiencing that this season with the success they've had. So go out there, make sure to support this team. It's fan appreciation weekend, so there's all sorts of fun reasons to go anyway. 50% off D-backs dogs. Get out of here. What do you need more of a reason?
They're already pretty affordable too.
They are pretty affordable, but most importantly, they are going to have the I think it's the yard sale is what they call it, where you can pick up all sorts of giveaway items. They have stuff for like $1. It's incredible. I think I got that little on-track bullpen cart for like $1 one year at the yard sale.
You got the actual bullpen cart for $1?
Just the little one. The little
replica.
Yeah, the big one I keep at my house. I bought that on eBay. That's a completely different scenario. But anyway, we implore you, if you live here in Arizona, to get yourself a great pair of sunglasses and do like I did. Get them from a sunglass company who, once you lose your sunglasses, will send you out a brand new pair with no shaming and no questions asked. That is our friends at Shady Rays. They make gear built to last, a premium polarized sunglass, and they offer the most insane protection plan in all of eyewear. Every single pair of their sunglasses is backed by a lost and broken replacement plan. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you out a brand new pair, no questions asked. And of course, I lost mine, and that's what they did. So they have your back long after you purchase. You can shop their entire collection at the brand new location at Kierland Commons. It's a full-stop shop for all things Shady Rays. And of course, if you don't love your Shady Rays, or you just want a different pair, you want to exchange them or your money back, you can do so for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Of course, again, they always have your back. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out the best deal of the season. Go to shadyraysday.com and use code PHNX for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. What is going on? Don't. What is happening? That is weird. I don't want Emma over here.
There you go, Derek. I'll hide him.
Hide my legs. Thank you. Like, come on.
We just have to stay
Chill
on the
out.
shot.
All right.
It's not like Emma's still in the building and can't just look at your legs.
She could privately message me over here, and I think that would be even weirder. So I don't know why she's doing it publicly in the chat. But Splash Sports, a great way for you to make money against your friends, like my friend Emma. PHNX has a weekly Pick'em and NFL Survivor contest. Pick X, I could say, an NFL Survivor contest for everyone to participate in for real money. All you do is head to splashsports.com/PHNX and sign up. Deposit cash to get started, and it's just $5 to enter either contest. PHNX Weekly will be running NFL Pick X contest and Survivor contest. So the more you enter, the larger the prizes are. We'll be running weekly contests all year, so be sure to keep that link handy. And if you want to run your own contest, you can do so at Splash Sports. If you're tired of being the commish on your league and having to chase people down for money, which I absolutely always hated to do, you can sign up now to be commissioner right through our link and earn money for the contests you're already running with your friends and family. So head to splashsports.com/PHNX to join in. We'll have different contests coming out, so we are stoked to compete with you and against all of you. Be sure to click our link in the description. Last, again, I've said it before, I celebrate losses and I mourn, I don't celebrate losses.
You celebrate losses.
I celebrate
and you mourn wins.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could say that too, but I do celebrate wins and mourn losses with our friends at Fort Peaks, and of course, you can too. They have a wonderful variety of beer, and the Joy Bus. It just always makes me happy. It always picks me up, and of course, they have not only a wide variety of beers always available, but right now it's pumpkin porter season. So make sure to check out pumpkin porter back on the shelves and in draft lines throughout the valley, and of course, you know, it's this time of the year, right? Pumpkin spice, pumpkin everything, right? This is the best. It's
pumpkin spice and everything nice.
Everything nice. They also have the pumpkin cheesecake at the 8th Street Pub, which is to die for.
Sean and I talk about this all the time, but they have the French onion soup as well, and it's so good.
It shouldn't even be seasonal. That's how good it is, but it is. So only go get it quick before it's gone. Visit fortpeaks.com/locator to find all of your favorite brewery tours and events. Stein Holding, which turned out to be very difficult. Oktoberfest and Haunted Brewery tours are all right around the corner. Again, tell them that we told you that the ghosts make the beers. And then when they play dumb, you know that it's true. Check out at Fort Peaks Brew or Fort Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest. Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21 or older to drink Fort Peaks, and please drink responsibly. I would tell people that ghosts made the beers, to be honest. I think it would make the beers worth more money. I think you might have come up with that theory, but
yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, way more marketable.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. But I guess the last thing that we should ponder is the Diamondbacks could have clinched today, right? And you know where they would have clinched, Jesse? In a goddamn airplane while they were flying about 100 miles outside of Phoenix. I mean, yeah, sure. Maybe they could have popped little bottles of alcohol or something on the plane.
Can you imagine they just go ballistic in the airplane?
Just start dosing the other passengers on like a commercial flight if that's what they're on. I don't know what they're on, but
I don't think they're on a commercial
flight. No, I mean, you know, that would be even more. Make it even more fun, right? But yes, I will say that there is potentially something to be said about being able to clinch at Chase Field, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would think like if you're a D-backs fan, you should probably go to the game tomorrow, right? Like there are few experiences better, I think, as a baseball fan than watching the home team clinch on their home turf, right? I mean, I think that's just one of the coolest experiences. Obviously, the real fun happens in the clubhouse after the fact. But
and I can't wait for him to be a part of that.
Yeah,
I really can't.
I'm supposed to wear like ski goggles.
I asked him. I was like, "Do you have a good pair of ski goggles?" And he looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, "You need something with a strap that keeps whatever tight to your eyes, swimming goggles, whatever. It's not just for fun. It's not just so you look like you're part of the group. It's not just to be fashionable."
They just don't necessarily like sequester the media to like a safe space in these moments. So we'll
is
see.
No safe space. As a matter of fact, I think Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly would actively seek you out to spray you with champagne in your face.
I'm sure. Yes.
And those glasses, those aren't going to do anything. Can I tell you folks how much it hurts to be sprayed in the eyes with champagne? It's one of the most awful experiences I've ever been through in my life. So we'll see what happens, but hopefully Jesse gets to experience that. Maybe you get to see some swimming in that pool.
Don't be a thief of his joy.
I want him to experience all of those wonderful things. I think I've told this story maybe even on the show before, but I know I told Jesse this. My first experience was, I believe, when the Dodgers clinched, and when I did go into the clubhouse, Pedro Gomez, rest in peace, was standing in the corner as far away from the action as he possibly humanly could be. And I walked over to him.
The veteran move.
It was such a veteran move. It was such an OG move because I went over to him and I asked him, "Hey, are you going to join in and all the fun?" And he goes, "Nah, you guys enjoy that." And it was simply that he didn't have any like sage advice for me, but it was enough for me. I was smart enough that I should have been like, "Oh, there's a reason he's standing over here." And I soon figured that reason out. And let me tell you, if you get pulled over by a police officer after being in the clubhouse and drenched with champagne, what answer are you going to give them for why your car reeks of alcohol? I don't know. Oh, I was in the clubhouse at the Diamondbacks while they were celebrating. Good luck with that one. Good luck getting them to believe that one.
I will say, so just so people are aware, the Marlins play tomorrow at 3:30 Arizona time, and the Chicago Cubs play at 5:10 Arizona time. So both of those games have a little bit of lead time ahead of the Diamondbacks game. So that means, you know, depending on the outcome of the D-backs game.
And depending on the outcome of tonight's game, they could like clinch before they even
Yeah, well, I guess what I'm saying is there's not a very likely scenario where the D-backs do clinch tomorrow, but we don't know right when the game ends. You're probably going to know right when the game ends because the Marlins and Cubs games will probably already be over at that point.
All right. Well, we thank you guys for stopping by, and hopefully you get to go out and see the Diamondbacks clinch tomorrow here at Chase Field. You can follow us on Twitter. We will be covering all of the action all weekend long. I am at Cap_Caveman with a K. Jesse is at Jesse N. Friedman. Jacob is at Jacob_Franklin4. I got that one, even though it's been a minute. Our show is at PHNX D-backs. We are still Damon's dogs, by the way. I want him to know that if he's here watching. But of course, all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We appreciate your time. We thank you guys for stopping by. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you clinch your playoff chances at home.